Hello everyone, good morning. In this Wednesday morning, I would like to talk about where the channel is headed and show you some homemade wasps. Usually I'm in my throne chair, which is up there in front of the studio, kind of facing back. But this week I'm going to give you guys a slightly different view. Here is Ghost Archipelago in the morning, with the morning sun. The jungle is a beautiful thing. Have the ship right there behind me. So a little bit about where the channel's headed. Now, we're going to touch on a lot of these things in our bi-weekly chat, Julie and I, so I don't want to say too much. But since videos are seen at different times by different people, you know, a little bit of redundancy, well, it doesn't hurt, I guess. So basically, we've been doing these weeks, these marathon weeks, where we try to play at least 3 or 4 games of a particular game, and we'll announce it as our spotlight, our game spotlight. It's gone through a couple of different titles. And then we play the game, as many games as we can for that week. And it's a great way to learn the game. It's a great way to get exposed to the different games and to bring you guys some content, right? But those weeks, as we are learning, as we're doing this, and we're learning tons about not just the games, we're learning about filming, editing, all this stuff, right? Painting, because of course, the week prior to any of these game marathon weeks is a lot of prep work. To set up this table, a lot of the terrain I didn't have, so I had to make it in 1 week. Julie comes in, she's helping me a lot more in the studio, so she'll come in and help paint, or she'll sit down and paint models, you know, mostly base coating. She doesn't do the actual painting, but she'll base coat stuff for me. She'll do that, and then it comes to me, and then I start painting the models. It's like an assembly line. So it's a lot of work. And then the filming, as we learned yesterday, there's always something unexpected. You know, games can go longer than usual, you know. So it could be a 2-part series. It could be longer than that. So, you know, we stuck to the whole week thing to give us some time so that we can play some games. And we knew that if games got a little longer or whatever, we could always add an extra day or 2. But it is a lot of work. And so what Julie and I we're continuously thinking about how to tweak the channel and everything, and how to bring quality over quantity, you know. We're thinking about several new series that are smaller, that are much easier to handle. And these weekly marathon things we will have periodically in the future for a particular game, you know, once we're comfortable with the games. So we're not actually trying to learn the game at the same time that we're filming, that, you know, have a game that we're already comfortable with. And this way, we don't have to worry about learning the rules. So what we're thinking is having a day. We are having Oathmark series come back. And Oathmark, not sure the day yet, but it's going to be sometime next week. And it's 1 day. And it's going to be every other day. Julie and I are going to get together. We're going to have an Oathmark fight, and it's going to be related to a campaign. We want to explore the whole story setting, story creating with Oathmark. And then on the weeks that we're not playing, that Julie and I are not playing, I will bring some other content related to Oathmark for that special Oathmark day. And I don't know what's going to be. Oathmark Wednesdays, Oathmark Thursdays, I don't know yet. We will know by this Sunday. Julie and I will announce it in our bi-weekly chat. So if you're interested in Oathmark, and that's kind of where you want to stay, well, that's fine. You know, we'll have that every particular day of the week, whatever it is, and I'll bring some extra content in the weeks that we're not playing. So this way, we're only preparing for a game every other week. And then Saturdays will be a sort of random play where we choose any game. It could be in fantasy, it could be science fiction, it could be, you know, in fact, I want to start playing a few sci-fi games, kind of migrate a little bit from fantasy, and that will happen on a Saturday. And of course, there's games like Vanguard and things like that that we want to continue to explore, and that could happen every other Saturday. And again, Julie's schedule, you know, we're working around our schedules, so it could be every other Saturday. And that will give us a chance to kind of experiment with other games as well, some of these sci-fi games that we want to try, you know. And then in the future, whenever we're ready, we could always announce a marathon on a particular game that we've already played, that we're comfortable with, that we don't have a lot of preparation to do. All this terrain gets put away. I've already tossed a lot of old terrain. A lot of this newer stuff gets put away. And then, you know, we have it in the future. So in the future, we're going to be more prepared for whatever game is coming because we have all this terrain. And of course, there's a lot of ways I want to explore the tables, the ocean tables and everything. So, you know, stay tuned for that. We're going to be looking at a lot of table setups. And my sculpting is going to start creeping in, and I don't know how I'm going to present that yet on the channel, but I do have a couple of wasps that I put a video up about me making these wasps for Ghost Archipelago. They're going to be used in a lot of different games, and I want to show you what I have so far because you haven't really seen it. All you saw were the wasps and green stuff. So now I want to show you a couple of painted ones. Well, there's one that's not quite finished yet. And we're going to continue with Ghost Archipelago week. Hopefully today we'll have the part 2 of yesterday's game. And quick thing about Ghost Archipelago. Yeah, it feels a lot like Frostgrave and in a certain sense. And it's meant to be in the same world as Frostgrave. But the rules play differently also. It kind of feels the same, but not. You know, and that's what I like about McCullough's games. You know, it's an interesting twist. You have these islands in the south of this world, and you have Felstad in the north, Frostgrave, right? So we want to experiment in the future with kind of linking those two, like have a group that starts in Frostgrave, and then they kind of, maybe they collect a few treasures, they get a little cocky, and then they hear about the Isles down south, right? We'll think of something. And then they come down south, maybe they meet with a heriter or something, and they come to adventure. Maybe they lose their wizard up north, and the remainder of the band want to stick together, and they say, well, let's try our luck down south, you know, something like that. I don't know. But we want to experiment linking these games because I think there's a lot of story potential there, right? Now, the figures are going to be a little tricky because Frostgrave, they usually bundle up, right? But we can find ways around that. All right, so let me go show you the wasps. I know you don't want to just see me talk here, so let's go check out these wasps, and that'll be the end of this Wednesday chat. Okay, so these are the little wasps that you saw in the previous video. I'll have a link in the description. You just saw the green stuff and all, and this one's already painted. So, and these are my little flight stands. I have a lot of ways of making flight stands. This was kind of a quick, you know, It was a very quick construction for a flight stand. Usually I use forks, plastic forks, and I cut them in all different ways. I use most of the fork. Almost 100% of the fork. So, you know, depending on the flight stand I want to make. And so here it is, and now I'm painting a second one. I have 3 of these. I'm going to be making more. Okay, and I use the paint. I don't put a lot of detail in them. Again, this is a quick fix. And I'm going to paint this one a slightly different color. And you have several different kinds of wasps. Well, 2 different kinds of wasps in Ghost Archipelago. One is the giant one, and the other one is a fire jacket, I think they call it. And it kind of ignites things on fire. Pretty cool. So I want to make one like that with like the base on fire or something like that. So that's the plan. We'll see. All right, so that's all I wanted to show you guys. A very quick show and tell this week. And we will be on, Julie and I will be on this coming Sunday for our little updates on the Oathmark series that's coming and several other things. So there you go. Green stuff wasps.